Mostly my voice in there. Can do it all. Just kidding. Can't. But thank you, McKenna, for the theme song, the music there. McKenna is back this week behind the computer. She was not here last week, but she's back. What's up, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the dtalks podcast, episode 138, I believe. If you're new here and you enjoy music, podcast, comedy, or hooping videos, do consider subscribing because we got a whole lot of that shit going on around here. Now, before I can introduce you guys to my guest this week, I got to talk to you guys about a couple other little church announcements before we get going. You know what I'm saying? We got Fine, my new song Fine. It's linked down below. We have merch still available, a very, very small amount. We sold out about almost every color and every size. We've got like yellow and green left for the most part, except for a couple of select other sizes. So if you want something, you can let me know in the comments, or you can message me on any of my socials that are linked down below. Do that because I want to make sure you guys get it, and they're selling out very fast. Now, before we get into the show, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why are you saving money on your car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, specialized for years in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest and touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So, what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 262-448-4141. The website's kenoshains.com. It's on the screen right now, link down below. Give them a call. Tell them Rita dtalks sent you. The worst that could happen is you will get the best rates. Now, with all that good stuff out of the way, I am pumped to introduce you guys to my guest this week, and get to know him a little bit better because I've literally only spoken to him one time other than this, so this is gonna be exciting for me as well. You might recognize him, his famous face and mustache from the Sad Girl Next Door podcast. Let's give a wet dtalks welcome to actor Adam Medina. He's here.
So wet.
So wet. That's a great introduction right there. Now Taylor said I had to shout her out.
Mm-hmm.
She made sure to tell me last time I was doing her show for her last week, I think.
She said you snubbed her? Or like?
She said I didn't shout her out last time I had somebody on the show that I met through her.
Sure.
So we're going to shout out Taylor and the Sad Girl Next Door podcast for making this happen. Because this wouldn't have happened.
It's like pick credits and like Instagram posts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The photo credits by Taylor. But so I introduced you as an actor.
Okay.
We're going to be talking acting a little bit today.
Cool.
Now, we talked a little bit prior to this, so I kind of already know the answer to this.
Yes.
You are not so much interested with camera work acting, which we'll talk about maybe the difference between that, but you're more stage-oriented.
Yeah.
Which is like more theater, like you're doing plays, musicals, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
I think obviously, I haven't really done my record of like camera work is not lucrative. Is that the right word? I don't know.
Lucrative.
I haven't done a lot.
Okay, that's fair.
Did I use it correctly?
No.
Cool.
Lucrative is there's financial benefit being made.
Cameras
so you
on,
could that could be also true, but I don't think it was used correctly in that sentence.
Okay.
But it could be true.
I appreciate it. Keep me humble.
No, you correct me as well, because I'm sure I'll fuck up a bunch. We're talking about acting today. I know nothing about.
Okay.
I wish I did. So, okay. So you
here
don't
for.
do a lot of it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, camera work. No.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've done like a couple student films, mostly through like just one person, but yeah, and like so I've done stage performance since I was like in 7th grade or so.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd like my first like thing that I ever did, like it was just like singing in choir and stuff like that, and I've obviously done that since like elementary school because you have to, but like come 6th grade I wanted to like specifically do choir, and then so I signed up to do that, and then so.
What was the first play you were in?
First play.
What first role?
Yeah, I was in Annie Jr. So it's
Annie Jr.
Yeah. So like you just small like simpler word and sentences version of like.
Oh, it's Annie, but it's just.
But
Junior. Okay, so we're just dumbing it down.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, for kids essentially.
And this was in like 7th grade.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive though, to like you're remembering lines. Do you have to like remember lines and like?
Yeah, but I had like 2, so like
that's fair. So not.
Yeah, no, I wasn't Annie. In case you thought.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how versatile, you know.
Hey, it's 7th grade. You never know. But
Maybe now.
yeah,
You could play Annie Jr.
I
now.
I have a degree, so now I could do.
Okay.
Annie. Yeah.
Yeah. At least Annie Jr. you could play.
Yeah.
At least.
I don't know about Annie Senior.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Annie the Third.
So okay, so you started like 7th grade. That's crazy. First
Yeah?
off, to just being on stage, like I did a talent show in like 8th grade as a joke.
oh sure,
Like
sure.
we did it, like me and some guys, like we did the talent show and like sang a Justin Bieber song to like,
Hell yeah.
because we didn't want to, we're not gonna try and like do the talent show. We
Yeah,
just
you're
did
doing
some-
it ironically.
Yeah. So we did some like dumb shit like that, and that was pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it way too much, but I couldn't imagine like even just a couple of lines having to like say that. Like we did like a music concert thing like every December in grade school where like you sing like the same 5 Christmas songs, and then somebody would like have like 1 or 2 lines, and like
sure.
I would have hated myself if I had to do that.
Yeah.
Like I just would have been so scared to
Yeah.
do that. Now I probably would be okay with saying those 2 lines
yeah.
in the Christmas show of a grade school. But
That's
so
your Annie Jr.
so what did you like? What was like? How do you decide like you want to be an actor though, or like you want to start even doing that? Because I feel like for me, I didn't even realize that until I was like in college that I like might enjoy like acting in that way. Like I never wasn't presented as a kid, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I didn't come to the conclusion of like this is what I want to do until about college.
Okay.
But before then I was taking like every performance opportunity that I could get that was like available through what I was doing. Like I never like sought out stuff outside of school. But like I took up doing choir. Like I didn't do band, but when a musical was presented, like in middle school, I wanted to do it. Then in high school, I was doing show choir. Then you could also do a play in addition to the musical, so I was doing that as well. Just whatever like performance opportunities that I wanted to do, I just took advantage of. And then,
what draws you to that as opposed to like any were you doing other extracurricular activities? I guess I should ask. Like, were you playing sports? Were you like a mathlete? I don't know.
Nothing else.
No, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that's what it's so interesting to me, because I feel like a lot of people that go like a theater route are like that's like what you did in your free time, as opposed to like where I was more so doing sports and whatever. Didn't realize until later that I was like, I really like this other shit. Like, and so like it's I guess like what are the things that is that are your parents like being like, yo, you should try acting, or we're gonna put you in choir? How do you start down that path, I guess, is kind of what I'm curious about.
It was really just like I think some inherent thing of like, oh, I want attention. Like, it's just like I seize opportunities to like make people laugh all the time. And like that's, I do that in conversation regularly. And then so that just kind of translates and just like, oh, I want people to watch me like do things. So.
That makes sense, because I feel like I have slowly become more aware of my narcissism as I've gotten older.
Sure.
Probably thus leading me to this.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What is the hardest thing about, I guess, doing plays in like high school and younger stuff like that? Especially as someone, I don't know how serious you're taking it at that time. You said you didn't really know if that was what you were going to be doing until you got to college, but I'm sure you probably cared for it maybe more than like somebody that's like, oh, sure, I'll just show up and do this play because they need extra people.
Yeah.
What's like the most frustrating part about being in, somewhat less serious environment when you're trying to do the best you can?
I wouldn't say that I like took it like seriously necessarily. Like I wasn't like, oh, I really have to divulge into this character as like a sophomore in high school.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna turn every line into as funny as I can make it so that people laugh at me. I'd say the only thing like the thing that was like difficult was just like balancing like class time and like homework and stuff like that. But otherwise, I was just like, I could say this word that way, and that's funny. So.
Is there a play that maybe you guys did in high school that you were like, why are we doing this play? Because I feel like a lot of people, when I talk to theater people, and this could be only my personal experience, maybe I'm wrong, complain a lot about the specific plays that were picked while they were in high school. We're like, these were pretty lame. Like, why we do these ones? So I'm curious.
Yeah, I think like theater directors tend to pick like plays that are a little more true to the art form, whereas like it's just they're gonna pick like Anne of Green Gables, or they want to do like a Shakespeare sort of a thing, where like that's not necessarily where like like the kids' interests are gonna lie. You know, they want to do something that's probably like more contemporary, that like maybe has to do with high school and is reflective of what they're doing, or like, I don't know, something like crazy like with aliens or something. I don't know. They don't want to do something like classic.
Yeah.
So I just kind of did regardless. I was just like, oh, like whatever this is, I'll just find some way to make it enjoyable for myself. Like I said it before, but we did Anne of Green Gables, which is like a more classic play. I don't really know it's like a series. I don't really know too much about it, but like we also did like A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Then we did like a couple modern ones. We did like we'd like Almost Maine, which is like it's a really popular one that's just like a bunch of little stories that are like cheesy about people being in love, that it's like pretty contemporary.
Oh, so are you more geared personally, I guess, do you prefer more musicals or regular plays?
I used to be a lot more of a musical kid, because like I've always sang too. And then so like never really danced necessarily, but I don't really care. Like it comes with the territory, so I'm just like, oh, whatever. But I think as I grow a little bit more, I'm a little more of a play person, especially because my like degree was in acting. Like I wasn't a musical theater major, so it's a little more like what I'm used to. But yeah, like I still very much so enjoy musicals, but it's kind of like a different animal a little bit to like, I don't know, remain in character and like learn how to like navigate a song and like still feel like these very like human things while you're navigating like singing a song.
Yeah.
Like, and like that I imagine that's like easy for like your own lyrics and like something that you create yourself, but when you're doing someone else's thing, it's a little it's different.
It's like a very layered acting right there. It's like you're not just acting as the person, you're also having to sing well.
Yes.
And put yourself, I guess, from what I would understand, in the shoes of that person singing.
Yes.
Like, so you're not just like you're taking acting as that person and singing well, and then having to be like, oh, what would that person needs to sing well, and I'm that person, I guess. Is that kind of that would be pretty difficult, I imagine.
Yeah, and especially with like say you're doing like a ballad or something like that that's just like a little slower paced. Like you have to have to maybe try to like time emotions and stuff like that to be like, oh, I can't like, you have to like say there's two separate lines, just like, oh, I'm sad, it's gonna be like this way forever, but it comes like 4 bars apart. Like you have to fill that space with and like emotion. Find a way to get to from I'm sad to like it's gonna be this way forever, and you have to like lengthen that process so that you're actively like you need to reach that at that point that you sing it. It's odd.
And all the while, you know, all the other things too that I think people maybe I totally was one of these people, forgot about until I started trying to do just a little bit of acting. Is you're doing that as well as remembering your blocking, where you need to be on the stage. You, again, singing well, which I think people like really underestimate. Like you're spinning around, you're dancing, whatever you're doing, and singing well live, like live. Man. There's no fucking auto tune, whatever. You fucking gotta be good. Like
for real.
That's what like. It's
no plugins. Like.
It's crazy, and I like admire people being able to do that so much, because I think it's crazy. It just is. It's insane.
Sure.
When it comes to I guess plays or musicals, do you think it is? I mean, I know you said it's a little bit hard, or in your opinion, it's a different beast to do a musical. Yeah. When you're doing like a more so just a play, do you feel like there's more of a sense of realism almost?
Yeah, I think just naturally, because obviously you don't break into song in real life. I think the more experience I would be to have with a musical, it would feel more natural. But I think just inherently, you know.
Why do this is kind of off the wall? Why do theater kids get a bad rap?
Oh, because they're desperate for attention and for people to like them. Like it's just like, it's what you do. And like, so, you know, you're pursuing this sort of thing as a career path. Like you're not going to be an engineer where you can get like, I don't know, you can get like self-fulfillment, or you just go to work and you just do that. And then like you clock in and out and stuff like that. Like you're going into something that is like, you're doing it because an integral part of your job is somebody reacting to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're just fulfilling like a safety requirement or something like that.
Yeah.
You're doing like a job to a certain extent. Like,
Well, if your job's to lay these bricks, like I go in, I lay this brick. I'm gonna come in tomorrow, lay the next brick. I'm gonna do that, whatever. I can see what I'm doing right. If nobody's deeming what you're doing good, it's hard to maybe feel, I guess, or feel like you're doing anything at all. Like, are you even acting if you're just acting by yourself, which you are. I would argue maybe you are, but
sure.
You're not really acting if you're not on a stage or you're not with other people working on your craft and stuff like that. Like, is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, a little bit. So like, you practice like memorizing and like doing a monologue and like thinking about just doing it over and over and like seeing where like this person's like mind / thought process might be to ultimately give it in front of people.
Yeah.
Like, it's always the ultimate goal, and where you're going to end up is always going to be in front of someone.
Yeah.
To just give it for them,
How do you go about personally? Because this is something that, like, I think is, again, with the very little acting I've done, was like, man, these guys would really be doing this all the time. Like, how do you go about like memorizing your scripts, memorizing your lines, and like, because you don't want to. This is where, again, I'm a very novice actor, and it was when I was trying to get into it, it was like, I'm trying as hard as I can for like literally like this person's acting at like with me, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, where is this line? Like, I'm just looking for it in the back of my head. Like, I'm not even able to like, and that was like this big hurdle, was like being able to have the lines down so much that like I could actually even get to acting. Yeah. And how did you, I'm sure you have a degree. I'm sure you're good at memorizing lines and things like that. What are some tools? How do people do it? How should they go about learning?
I am not great at lines. I also potentially have ADHD. So like, I just can't do like a lot of things.
Okay.
But like,
that's fair. That's fair.
But the way I used to go about my lines, like all throughout high school, like middle school through high school, I would rap my lines.
You'd rap them.
I like not like I'm rap godding this shit. Like I have flow, but like I would always do it rhythmically. Like
just like keep it in a 4/4 time.
Yeah, or so, yeah, like there's like Shakespeare has like if music be the food of love, play on. I would always say like, if music be the food of love, play on. And I just like, I'd kind of do it all similarly. I'd maybe like, I don't know, switch up the rhythm like a little bit, but like that's absolutely how I used to memorize lines.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a neat trick, actually. I probably would have liked that.
I was going to say, like,
Trevor, where you at, bro? Come on, man. That's a good, I like that. That's a good trick, kind of doing it rhythmically. That's interesting, because that's something, I feel like even in life, like when I'm getting ready, if you're getting ready to be interviewed by somebody for like a job or something like that, you're kind of like, I do that in my head already, like kind of like thinking like, oh, they're going to maybe ask me that. And I'm a musical person, so that makes sense. But that's a great tip, actually. Yeah. Aspiring actors out there, that's right there. That's gem. Dropped a gem for them. Yeah. Stage acting versus camera work. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and how you prefer the latter. When it comes to stage acting versus camera work, what are the biggest differences as an actor? Camera work, you know that you have like opportunities to do it more, like to do it more times. However, so you're just like, there could be a part of you that's just like, oh, I didn't do that right. At least I have another chance to do it. I could just keep tackling it. But I think also like, I've known this like to be true for like some of my actor friends, where it's just like, as soon as like a camera's on or something like that, or you know that you are like being recorded, or like this is like cemented in some way, it's like you shut down. Like, really? It's just like, I can't like you have to record. I said this a little bit on Taylor's podcast, but you have to like record audition tapes like for theaters like that, maybe like across the country, or like we're doing it a lot more prevalently now, like through COVID and stuff like that, submitting virtual auditions. But like, dude, so many times when you're recording something like, and like this is just like your
alone in your room,
Yeah.
like you're hitting a button on like a computer so that like a song track can play or something like that. You
Oh,
just
yeah.
like you're just like, fuck, like no, let's start it over.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, you're just like like
Oh yeah.
yeah, all the time.
That's okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I
It's
haven't. Does that
interesting,
apply to
though.
studio as well? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's yes, there's a lot of outtakes for sure. It's
Mhm.
a lot of fuck ups. But it's just so interesting to hear somebody like yourself that has a a degree in acting. You've acted a ton. And
Yeah.
do you think it's because like people aren't really recording the play like as you guys are doing, like no one's on their phone. It's not a concert like they're like trying to record whatever as much.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple parents or something
Yeah.
are doing that, but for the most part it's like in this moment, if the people in here enjoy this, that's that. And then afterwards
Yes.
I can reflect on whatever I want to
Yes,
reflect on, but I don't
absolutely.
have to sit there. And if it's recorded, it's like, and if there was one little thing that was fucked up, everybody could see that forever.
Dude, oh my god, yeah, because like it's because now this mode switches. You're just like, I have to be presentational now. Like
Yeah.
this has to like be perfect. There is like allegedly, because you're not supposed to record shows,
Mhm.
because you have to pay the rights for them. So
Okay.
allegedly there's like performances that like some people have recorded that I just straight up like doing a musical, like we like in college too, where like you get, this is the thing that's going to be cemented forever, where like I had to do a move where like at the end of a song, like I jump over a chair and then land in it, and then like it's like on this last beat, and it's super cool when you land in the chair. My pants got caught on it, and I'm jumping over it, and like it like shuffles over like
Oh, no.
under me. And I'm like, oh fuck, and like I am going like straight over a fucking chair. I can jump, it's fine.
Yeah.
But like this is the only time that I missed it, and it just got
and it was
so
being,
fucked
and it
up.
was the time it was being recorded.
Yeah. Dude, there's many of those.
Damn.
Like I did, this is kind of an interesting one. I did a musical called Heathers. It was a 1980s film. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Yeah, no,
at
I'm
all.
not.
It had Christian Slater and Winona Ryder in it, but then they turned it into a musical at one point, and it's really good. It's really really funny. But there's just and our director, this is known fact. He recorded it and then he actually uploaded it to YouTube.
Okay.
And it's one of these shows. This is all to say that like we made a couple mistakes in there that made it in there, but this is also just an interesting piece. It's one of those shows that like the musical theater like community can
Mhm.
sometimes be fueled by like the Stan fans sort of stuff. Where like
Okay, how so?
so there's a few different musicals that are like mostly geared towards high school that just all like the high school theater kids just fucking adore, and they just absolutely go for it. Like there's
What are those right now? Yeah.
there's not like I'm trying to think. As far as like current ones, like now I'm not sure exactly. There's like Hades Town is a decent one. Dear Evan Hansen is a pretty prevalent one. They just made that into a film. It had
That was that. Okay, yeah, I heard it did really bad.
yeah. I haven't seen
the
it
guy
yet.
who was playing the lead looked
Yeah,
like he was
Ben Platt.
40. So that's
was-
why.
Yeah, it
I
was an
think.
interesting choice, certainly, because he played it originally on Broadway, and
Oh,
I saw him actually, and holy shit,
Good.
what the fuck?
When was that?
2017, 2018,
So
somewhere.
4
around
years. So 4 years can age somebody a lot, I guess.
there. And like, no, he
Respectfully, bro.
Yeah,
I don't
you're just
know.
like, there's no excuse.
No-
like, he
no
looks
hate, man.
old. Like, so here's the thing: is that like my take on that is he did wonder when you're on stage. Like there's a prominent musical Newsies that like the
Mhm.
lead in that, his name was Jeremy Jordan. He was like at least 32 at the time. Like
Yeah.
and he's playing a guy, and like he says like in a song just like I'm 17. It's like but like
Yeah.
that's what you play at that age. Like and it passes on stage, like
Yeah.
funny enough. So it was fine. He was 24 I think 24 at the time, and
Okay.
he did this role on Broadway, and it was disgustingly good. Like dude
Really?
insanely good.
It sounded like a pretty interesting story when I saw the trailers. I'm not gonna lie, for the movie. I've never seen the play or heard of it. I just knew it was. I just thought it was this new movie coming out, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty interesting. And then I heard it did bad, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
I didn't see it,
and I haven't seen it either, so I can't weigh in. But when I saw it originally on Broadway, everyone like they're not playing their age, so it's fine. And like my friend like said at one point, like the original Spider-Man film, like the original Sam Raimi, like Tobey Maguire first one, like. These are also people like in their 30s playing high schoolers, but they're all that age.
Yeah.
So it passes.
Yeah.
But he was the only one who wasn't that age, who was like the rest of them were actually like high schoolers or like a little bit outside of it.
Makes you look out of place then.
Yeah, like just like absolutely. And like so but I can't blame them necessarily cuz like that dude has such an understanding of that part that it's insane. Like he was with it from its inception. Like from the first workshop that they did, he did it for like 3 or 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that show. Like and dude like I don't know that he took too many like shows off when they were doing the show live. Like really? I saw it. I went to New York literally just to see this, and then we drove back. But like
really? You drove there?
Yeah, like
that's kind of, I mean, it sounds like a terrible amount of driving, but also kind of fun. Just kind of go on a sweet road trip like that to New York City.
Yeah, it's just like we have only this amount of money, so that's what we're gonna do. Like
that, dude. That's awesome.
I can't remember what I was saying, but
you were saying he was with it since its inception, and then
yes, we saw a matinee, which is an afternoon performance, like not a nighttime performance. He was fucking there. Like it was on a 2-show day, and like they do Broadway, like you typically do 8 shows a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's fucking taxing.
How long do you do one show for? If I'm like, how long do they keep one show on Broadway? Before they're like, because how many shows are they doing?
Sure, it's really just I'm not really sure with COVID, because like theater's like kind of coming back, but like not really. Like Hugh Jackman's in a Broadway show right now, and it like so many people just got COVID from that, so then like it kind of had to stop for a little bit.
Makes sense.
But it depends because like putting a show on Broadway is just a gamble on producers' parts. It's just like we like it enough to like see if it succeeds. Like it's totally dependent on like who comes and sees it. Like if producers are like, this isn't like worth it, like this isn't doing what we need it to do, it's not making us enough money, like we're not going to do it.
So it's very similar to the movie industry.
Yeah.
In that way.
But you know, you get to kind of pull the plug like in the process, sort of a thing.
Oh wow.
Are you familiar with the Spider-Man musical?
I heard it. I actually haven't seen. There's a YouTube video that gets recommended to me like every day. That's like the dark history of that musical.
Yeah.
And it's apparently this big disastrous thing that happened.
Yeah, it was insanely like and
what did they try to? They tried to make it like what, based off like the Sam Raimi films back when that was going on, or
a little bit. I think it came out in like 2011, 2012, which was I think it was a little bit after like the Andrew Garfield ones.
I can't remember exactly the years of Garfield. You want to look up when Garfield's came out?
Yeah.
I think it was because when did Toby's ended? His first one was in like 2002, right? Or 2000?
Yeah.
And then so he probably was doing that for at least 6 years because it's probably 2 years in between each movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm trying to think, man. Yeah, you're probably right. 2011. So 2012. So probably the same time. So it's probably kind of like
it would have been 2011. I think 2011 was when the musical came out. I can't recall.
So who would they have been basing that film on? Would they try to do their own thing completely?
They really tried to make it. They really tried to like raw base it off of like just Spider-Man in general. Like I know the director said that she really looked into like a rich history of the comics, and she really wanted to take this entire legacy experience like and put it into one thing where it's like you have like the Sinister Six, which are like the big Spider-Man 6 homies that come to fuck his whole life up. Yeah, yes. Absolutely. And then so like she had them in there, but like a lot of people said it came off like it felt very like they were doing like the Sam Raimi thing. So yeah, can't really say, but that's a musical that actually like lost 6.5 to like 7.5, 6 to 7.5 million dollars.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's seen as like the biggest Broadway flop there is. But funny enough, that show ran for like 2 or 3 years.
Really?
2 or 3 years.
Were they just like hoping like maybe this week?
Yeah, like and
maybe tonight's the night.
they put so much fucking work into it because like
Sure.
shows don't typically start on Broadway. Like they do like an out of town tryout in like a bigger city that they can get some pull, like something in like
They do like Chicago at all?
yeah,
Or
like a Chicago, like Big Fish was there. They like the Washington D.C. was where like Dear Evan Hansen was for a while. So they try it somewhere else to see how it works before they like go straight to Broadway because that's too much fucking money. Like
some high stress. We need to make some bands right now. If we're doing it on Broadway. Makes sense.
Yeah. Build it up a little bit. But like but Spider-Man started right on Broadway.
Damn, so they were confident.
They had to. Like,
it's
maybe,
too big of an IP probably to not do.
You know what? Maybe they were confident because the director of it is Julie Taymor, who directed The Lion King, which came out in like the 90s, and it's still on Broadway. Like it was so wildly successful and is still successful that it's still lasting on Broadway. It's still pulling in crowds. It's still going on tour around like the country too. Yeah, no, it's still doing well. She's an incredible director. She's really solid. And the music is like she got Bono and The Edge to write the music for it.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is like they were probably confident. Dude.
Yeah.
If it went straight to Broadway, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So do shows? You mentioned that shows tour. And again, this is a world that I'm not super familiar with. Steve in the chat says, "Hola, senor. How are you, Steve?" Deborah says, "Happy Monday. How are you guys doing?"
I'm Mexican, so shout out to Steve.
Steve,
speaking my people.
Inclusivity.
I can't actually speak Spanish. So
No,
it's like, no,
not at all.
No.
You didn't take Spanish at all in high school?
I did, and I like did really well at it because like it's already in my ear. I didn't like I don't know. I feel like every kid would say like, "Oh,
your parents speak
como
it?
se escribe tu nombre," and I'm just like, that's not okay. Like,
you're like, no, not quite.
Yeah, I'm like I was fortunate that like I said it like the least white out of everyone because like I'm just a little familiar with it.
That helps. I was definitely one of the people speaking it exactly
that
how you
that
just
and
said.
that is valid. That is valid.
That was how it was going down.
Yeah.
I said hola to piss my teacher off though. It was a joke that we had where I had like an A in the class, but I wanted everyone to think that I was really bad. So in front of everybody,
that's funny.
She and I would go back and forth, and I would just be like an ass sometimes. But it was fun.
I also got to fuck around in my Spanish class because I was like one of the best kids in there.
It's a privilege, right?
Yeah,
but it's an earned privilege. You know? You're like, dude, I'm the fucking best in here. I can be a dick, okay?
Dude. And like like my Spanish teacher, like sidebar is that like I actually her roommate was like my theater teacher in like middle school, and then so like my mom like does a lot of DIY stuff, so then like my theater teacher asked if we could come like lay trim and stuff like that in her like townhouse, so that like you know they're gonna move out at some point, make it look nicer. And then so I laid trim in her house, and then so like dude, I was like invulnerable in that class. Bro, like I could be
armor on.
Yeah,
bro.
I could do the dumbest shit, and she just like nothing. But like, and so many kids would get called out for like so much less, and I felt so powerful.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, this is it, bro. This is my favorite hour of the day when I come in here. 6th hour, bro. Fucking shit is lit.
I'm on top of the world.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy. So you mentioned so that shows will like tour and stuff like that. Again, it's something I don't really know anything about. When a show is gonna tour, is that like it kicks ass at Broadway for like it plays at Broadway for a few months straight or something, and it's doing really well, and we're like, you know what, let's do United States tour, and is it the same crew of people?
No, they'll typically get they will just like I don't know, like copy
they'll do new
and paste.
actors.
Yeah, they'll totally new. Yeah, then like there's been cases where like you know, some people from the Broadway company go on to do the tour. It's not very common though because you're still touring, like like so like some people might like prefer, a lot of people prefer, I imagine at least, to like stay in New York and like have a stagnant lifestyle where you don't have to be on the move all the time. But yeah.
Do you mentioned too that like Big Fish was something that they started somewhere else. Is Big Fish a good musical or play? I've never seen the play. It's one of my favorite films.
For sure.
I love that movie. I love Ewan McGregor, and like Yeah.
Okay, we actually did it at URock. Do you know that?
Yeah, actually, did you guys do it I think it was either the year before or after I was in theater.
It would have been like when you were there for sure. I can't remember.
But you did it. Because
Yes.
you were a year, you left a year
Yes.
into me being there.
I think
so.
so.
It was the first year I was at URock, because I didn't do any theater or anything my first year.
Yeah, because I think I was like there maybe the semester, because
Mm.
I was a part-time student for half a year. So
Okay.
I went 2 years, and then I was a part-time for
Okay.
for one semester.
Interesting. Yeah, they did one when I was like actually like actively in theater and everything. I think the play they were doing, I forget the name of it. It was something to do with the mom she had like an addiction problem.
Oh,
and-
Next to Normal.
Yes, Next to Normal.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
And I thought they did a good job.
Good, yeah.
But yeah, when I had heard that they had like recently done Big Fish, I was like pissed. Like I was
For
like,
sure.
I was like, bro, like I'm not saying I would have been in the fucking thing, but I would have liked to help out. Like I love that. That is one of my favorite movies.
Sure.
Like it's just, is it a good play? Is it?
It is. It's pretty good. Okay,
I won't be offended. I don't care that much. if
I
it's
know,
bad.
but I don't want to offend like anyone else.
Oh,
Like,
no. Well, I mean, you know, they could come on here next week and tell me why it is a good play.
oh yeah,
so
I'm sure.
it'd
Like
be
yeah,
okay.
yeah, like Broadway lyricists and composers are just
I'll
like,
give him a call.
I'm gonna set the record straight. Like,
This fucking guy over here on the Detox podcast is shitting on my Broadway play. I'm gonna come over and set him straight.
I really care about this guy in small town Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so it's not, in your opinion,
the music
greatest.
is some of my favorite I've ever heard in a musical. Like it just hits me so well. I love the fucking music in that. But I don't think the book was very successful. Like the script for it. I think it tends to fall short.
That's fair.
Sorry, whoever you are.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
that's crazy. The guy who you think wrote the actual book, who's that by? Tim Burton did the film.
Yes,
And then I don't know who did is the
I'm not
play
sure.
more so based off like the book than the
oh,
movie? Or
I couldn't tell you
think
because I
they're
didn't read
taking-
the book.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I didn't read the book either. I just know the movie is really good, and that's so I'll just stand by that. But it's fascinating too, because like when movies like that, or if it's something based off a book, when there's no music to like be found in it. Something that blows my mind is like, who is writing all the original songs to be like, we're gonna take this movie that's really good that we
Yeah.
like and we think we could do something on the stage with,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make songs for it. Because like,
Yeah.
you know, like a Disney movie, like those were movies like this is made to be a musical.
Yeah.
You know, like we're making this movie, we're designing it with the intention of it being a musical.
Mhm.
We're taking something like Big Fish or fucking Spider-Man. Like those are not like fucking Stan Lee and all the Steve Ditko were not man,
no.
we're gonna make this. I want him to break into song after Flash, like, you know, gives him a wedgie or whatever. Like we're not.
Yeah.
So how do people, at least I don't know how much you know about it, do people
Sure.
go about like adapting that into like, let's write songs for this scene, like let's
Yeah, I don't know like how exactly they go about it. I think but what I've tended to notice is that I think some people tend to start from, at least how it feels to me, and when I think there's a successful adaptation of like source material into a musical, I think it's a lot better when they translate it. They do the script first, flesh it out, make sure that it makes sense, and of course adjust like as things happen, but like and then kind of write the songs from there and see like what pivotal moments could use that, because like yeah, like when you kind of go from the perspective of like like we'll write this song and then we'll just kind of wedge it in there, sometimes it can feel a little unnatural, it can feel a little unnecessary, and I'm sure you can get the same result from like the way that I'm speaking, but like yeah, there's some that just really fall short and aren't super successful.
I imagine it's got to be like an incredibly difficult task to
Absolutely.
pull off. Like, oh, we're gonna
Absolutely.
like, again, like something like a big. I'm just trying to picture like having watched that movie, however many times I've seen it, and being like, where's the song gonna be? Like, where's like, I just don't know. Like, what's the
what about
lyrics?
this scene says lyrics? Like
Yeah.
you know, like,
And who's singing and where? Like, it's just kind of crazy to me.
yeah.
But yeah, it'd be good for them. People doing it. Is there a play? What other than maybe the Spider-Man play? Is there a play or musical that is like in recent memory of yours that like you're like, why are we doing this?
Oh, there's like, it's not a direct adaptation. Oh man, it's smaller. I don't want to talk shit. Okay, it wasn't my favorite adaptation. it was more of an adaptation of like just like pop culture. Like they made Emoji Land the musical. I know. Okay.
Wait, is Emoji Land? That was a movie, right?
Like,
Like a
it not-
shit movie.
That was
for
the
kids?
Emoji Movie.
Oh, the Emoji movie.
They weren't connected.
Okay.
But I wonder if
in one
Emoji
timeline
Land was,
they
yeah,
were
I
connected.
wonder if Emoji Land took inspiration from the Emoji Movie.
Can you pull up images of that? I'm sure the costume design is probably hideous, dude. Emoji. What was
Emoji Land the
Emoji
musical.
Land the musical.
Oh God.
This is. I need to see this, dude, because that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
And it was.
And I personally wasn't the
It was
biggest
subpar.
fan
It was
of
subpar.
like
In a fair sense.
the songs that like they wrote for Skull. I hate that that's a character. Like that.
Just the emoji, the skull emoji.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The song, like the songs that they wrote for him are fucking fire.
Really?
Like absolutely. I'll show you like some stuff after
You
this.
got it
but,
pulled
like,
up, McKenna? Can you put it on screen so that people can see it? Maybe if you want to, you don't have to, but you want to flip it around so we can see. Yeah, it's the tier list one will be the scene you switch to. The poop emoji is
Oh,
good.
God.
Okay, let's see what we have here. I am. Oh, okay, yeah, that one is at least
Creative.
costume wise. Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not. I was thinking like some really bad like Katy Perry Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Like they're wearing like a big smile.
thing.
And, like, the
Yeah.
guys-
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God it's not that. That's better.
Yes.
Better than what I thought.
I'm glad to hear that.
And we'll have to listen to the Skull songs you said.
Yeah,
are good.
I'll show you.
Okay, because that is Yeah, the poop emoji is fucking perfection. Everything else though, I mean I don't know. It looks like any other musical off the
Yeah, it
off the
kind of
top,
does.
but I'm
Just
sure,
bright
like,
colors and
yeah,
like,
it's just like wow, this is cool, fun, whatever. But yeah, I'd
Mhm.
be kind of scared to spend however long I would need to spend sitting in a theater seat
yeah.
to experience Emoji Land.
Yeah.
That's a hard sell for me.
That undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right for that. Like,
Yeah. Damn. So okay. So that's a I can accept that as your choice for that question. What is something or what's your least favorite role that maybe either you've played or you think that exists in like plays or musicals? Like you're like, damn. Like if you were like in a theater and like or maybe you were on Broadway and they were like, oh, we're doing this musical. You're like, okay, I like this musical.
yeah.
And then they're like, you're gonna play so and so, and you're like,
holy shit.
who's the person that you're like, fuck,
That's like,
damn it.
who's the person I want to fuck?
No, that could be a separate question.
Hypothetical character. Like,
Who do we got?
it's like Ophelia from Shakespeare.
Oh.
God damn. Like,
Throw it back, bro. Crazy, man.
damn it.
Okay, so who's the worst character?
Fuck. I that's like as simple as that is, that feels like a hot moment. It's like, good question. Like that, like that's in a compilation moment. I don't fucking know. I don't think I really hate any characters necessarily, because if something is like a good or successful player, like I personally like want to give it the time of day. You may dislike someone, but like there's a reason why they're there, and like like I played a real piece of shit in like this play called Dog Sees God, which is like
I've heard of that.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
not seen it. But
We did it at URock.
Okay, that's where I heard it.
and-
That makes sense. Then.
and it's a take on the Peanuts if they were like in high school and
wow.
like they were like real people, and
Yeah.
like I played a character called Matt, and like it's not authorized, so they can't use like the specific name. So Charlie Brown is CB. They like have alternate names for them, and Matt, you don't know who he is at first, but then you find out that like he's Pigpen, but he's like
Which one's Pigpen in the?
he's the one with like
Is
the
it
dust
the
cloud
dirt,
around him.
like,
Yeah,
around
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
But in this, he's like a total fucking bully. He's like a real piece of shit. Like saying like the gay F slur.
Oh
Like,
man, does he still
a
smell
lot.
bad though? Does he look like he
No.
smelled bad? Oh okay.
No, you
He's
don't.
cleaned up now, but he's dirty in the inside.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
I like it.
And like you try to form like what backstory he might have. It's just like, because he's like super clean now. Like he's a big fucking jock, and he's like, at least I don't remember if it was in the stage directions or if it was like a director take on like Trevor's part or something like that. But like I just had Purell the whole time, and I just like whenever like someone touched me, I was like, huh. It was like,
God. Yeah.
and like and whenever like someone like alludes to his name before, you're just he flips fucking shit, just like don't fucking call me that, like and he's like a real piece of shit. Like he straight up like breaks a kid's hands. Like it's it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
But I feel like this would be. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Go
But
for it.
I feel like a lot of actors, whenever I hear them talking on like the roundtables on YouTube and stuff, they always love playing like these really evil,
and that's
mean characters.
And that's kind of the point, is that just like even though like this person like is inherently a piece of shit, like my mom after I'm not saying like I like did like an amazing job or anything like that, but afterwards my mom was like, I don't want to touch you. And I was like I have a great relationship with my mom, and she's like, I love you so much, but I don't want to touch you.
Wow, that's
like holy shit.
Damn. Yeah. That seems like it would be an interesting thing to do. It's kind of crazy to put yourself in that headspace. And it's something I wanted to ask you about. How do you go about, and this can be just for you, I don't know what, maybe if you have tips for other actors and stuff like that, you could give those as well. But what does it mean to get into character, and like how do you do that? Like when people, because you hear that if you're not an actor like myself or other people, like someone will be like, oh man, you got to get into character if we're doing like a YouTube skit or so. What the fuck does that mean, bro? Yeah. So what does that mean? I've got somebody here that knows.
Semi. Like, because I will say like the entire like process of like getting a degree and taking these courses for an acting degree is just breaking you down. So like not like walls of Jericho kind of way, but like
but similar to how they do, I feel like in like the military, you join the military, they break you down. Now I'm not comparing them, but
like
same,
I see what
but they
saying.
break you down so they can build you up in their image, where it's like now you know how to, you can go on a set, and depending on the director, depending on the circumstances, you have the tools now to be able to be a good actor.
Yeah. And so like it's like our professors literally, like, first of all, you have to do like everything that you do, every like piece that you do in front of your entire class. And then so like
how many people's in that class?
It depends. Mine was like, I really can't name a number. It's
20,
like, it's like
30-ish.
No, it's like 8 to like 12.
Oh, that might be kind of worse in a way. You know, like, because that's what, like, it's like few people, you know everybody.
And, like, you spend, like, the full, like, 4 years, like, 2 to 4 years with them. Damn. So it's like, yeah, you kind of, regardless if
it
you...
could get better, I guess, towards maybe if you guys are all cool. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, even if, like, you're not cool with, like, some people, you kind of, you are. Like, you kind of, they're in your class, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, like, I don't know, it's kind of nice, just, like, some people that you really, maybe, like, I don't know, you just wouldn't generally just be like, oh, let's like actively hang out. Like you spend time with them, and it's really cool. It's like and I'm not saying like I feel that way about like anyone in my class, but like, I don't know.
It's like a family sort of deal where it's like you're kind of forced to be with each other for a long time, for a couple years, and
like, and especially like, oh, you know my trauma. Like, it's like, what's up? Like, oh my God.
Like, you saw me when I was giving the fucking Biff monologue, doing, spoofing that shit, and now you're seeing me doing that. Yeah. So that's kind of cool though.
Yeah, but like, the whole thing is like, your professor is just trying to get you to be like, just holy shit, feel something. Like, let it go, feel something. Like, you're not up here to like impress all these fucking people. Like, you're not up here to like make the funny ha-has. You are here to like replicate and like this experience of this dialogue. And then so there's, like we have to do personalization monologues.
What does that mean?
You at least for like, I'm not saying like this is necessarily like a term that exists elsewhere. I'm not sure, but like this is what the assignment was called for us. So it you choose a monologue that you connect to in some way. Okay. And then we went up in front of class and you gave it. And your director essentially, like after you give the first one, it's just like, like you give a dry run of it. And then your director's like, what does this mean for you? Like, why do you connect to this piece? And then you're just like, oh, like I connect because of this reason. And it's funny because like when I did mine, like it was about, it was from Dog Sees God, where like this kid, his like his lover / like kid that he used to bully, like he died. Like he took his own life, and
Oh, God, man.
he's in like a I don't know what stage of grief, but he's lashing out. He's absolutely lashing out, and he's saying like I don't miss him. Like what if like he's fucking stupid. Like and it's like homophobic as well, and it's just it's a fucking ridiculous. It's a really layered piece.
Yeah.
But I gave that, and like I gave some reasoning. I said why I felt like I connected with it, but then my professor looked at me. He was like, I was just like, oh, that wasn't good enough. And but like, he could tell that it didn't have enough juice for me. So he's just like, do you have any friends that like have like taken their life, or I'm like, no. He's just like, do you have anyone that like has thought about that? I was like, yeah, like one of my best friends, like this person. And he says, and like then I like say their name, and then he just repeats their name. And I was like, he's like, well, how would you feel if this happened? I was just like, oh fuck. And then he just like will stand like next to you, and he will just prod you. He'll be like, how would you feel if that happened to him right now? Like, how would you feel if that happened right now? It's just like, I don't know. He's just like, you do know. What would you feel right now? You're just like, I would be really fucking upset. He's just like, say the line, and then you give the line, and then like he just keeps pressing.
That's a director right there.
Oh my God,
that's a fucking director,
dude. Dude, I end up like just yelling at the top of my lungs and crying my fucking eyes out in front of like my entire class. And this was another like monologue where I said it's very homophobic, like because he like it's his former lover, and like but it's also a kid he used to bully, so he's like resorting back to these old ways, and he's lashing out, and he like is about to call him like the F slur, and then like I get to that part and I'm imagining my best friend and that I'm talking about him, and I cannot say the fucking word. And like I am like trying to force myself to say it, but I cannot. Like so it's just breaking you down so that you can actually experience it, like so you can
kinda
actually
accept
feel
the
something.
character that you're supposed to be.
And find the reality in them. Like however much you might not be like them, or however much you don't feel like you connect with this person, it's finding that connection. Why are they this way? Like why do they not stop talking? Why are they like so standoffish? Like finding your reality, like finding what you know about reality and imagining and placing it onto someone else, and like I don't know, grabbing your essence almost, and like letting it fill the words, sort of a thing.
That's interesting too. And the thing is, I feel like if a character's written well, in which these are plays that have been proven, you know, they're not just like it's not I just didn't write the play, you know, it's not like we're hopefully this character is good. Like these are plays that like we know these characters work and stuff like that. You know, I feel like if a character's written well, then there is some semblance, like some little bit shred of humanity where it's like you're not that guy. Yeah. But you felt things that this person has felt. We're humans, right? So that makes a lot of sense. I'm interested too, because you mentioned that this seems very much like this person that was directing you was having you draw on personal experience, especially in this kind of a darker thing. This was happening. What was interesting when I was doing acting for a little bit, Trevor specifically, and not to throw Trevor under the bus or anything like that, but he was saying, shout out Trevor. Shout out Trevor. I would love Trevor. You got to come on the podcast, man. Come on, please. He mentioned like sometimes while it's a viable like tactic, that it can be almost like hard and dangerous for actors to like draw on traumatic experiences, to be like somebody who can't cry, and until they think about this horrific thing that happened in their family however many years back, and then they have to go to that dark place every time, can be difficult. And so he always like encouraged like finding different ways to get there. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
At least the way that they taught us in our class, and there's different like methods for like I believe there's Stanislavski, and then I don't know shit about fuck, so I'm not gonna like give definitions, but that's I believe that's more Stanislavski, and it's seen as method acting, where like but the way that like my director and like professors kind of delivered is just like exercising your mind, sort of like finding, because you're not necessarily going to connect to someone else's experience, What you can connect to is is kind of an imagination or like kind of the seed of something or a seed of a feeling that you've had that can then inform your choices and how you would react in that situation. So what we would do is like we would take personal things and then like we would experience it and like put it into these words and see what that's like. But then it was always like immediately it's like you're not living in that for long enough. Like the monologue is 90 seconds and you're working on it for like, I don't know, like 10 to 15 minutes or something like that. So it was just kind of mental exercise to get yourself to that place. And I might come to find out at one point that this shit is not good for you, even the way that they taught this. So I don't know, but this is just the way that I've learned. But not putting yourself in that place all the time, but getting your imagination and your familiarity with your feelings exercised enough that you can then, you don't always have to go to that stuff. You can just imagine yourself there. That you don't always have to go back to like my best friend who has like expressed like, you know, like suicidal thoughts before and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's so. Yeah, it's really interesting actually. The kind of the way you're explaining it, and I think I kind of have a question. What do you take home from that? Like, do you take any of that into like? I mean, that seems like a pretty, even if it's only for 15 minutes, right?
Yeah,
that's a pretty intense mental exercise, emotional exercise, right?
Sure.
Or it could be. Do you feel? Or I guess how does that make you feel like afterward? Like when you're done with class and you're just like going back, like someone's like, oh, let's go get coffee or whatever. Like, where are you taking any of that with you? Are you learning things about yourself through doing that? Like experiencing this character's mindset and their emotions? Like, what are you taking with you?
I think at least like when I've done like in terms of like the personalization monologues, it's felt fucking cathartic afterwards. Cause like, I don't know. I think I imagine I have tendencies of like pushing my emotions and feelings down. Like, no, I do. Like, I don't, I've learned that as I've gotten older, like I live like kind of in, I call it suspension sometimes, where it's just like, oh, I'm living to like please someone in this moment or like to make them laugh or something like that. I'm not always acknowledging how I'm feeling and like how this certain thing is affecting me. I'm just like socially navigating sort of stuff.
Yeah, you're just kind of trying to not ruffle any feathers. And you're just trying to make sure everybody else feels good. And you don't ever stop to ask, like, do I even fucking like these people?
Yeah, for real.
Like, I do the same thing where it's like it can be frustrating because you don't realize it until people are gonna get mad because I've said it like 5-6 times since the new year started. But I've been journaling. Recently started journaling.
Hell fucking yeah.
It's been like since December, I think I've been journaling, and so like you don't know what you don't know. And to skip some of the stuff we've talked about prior on the podcast with other guests where I've talked about journaling, it's like I didn't realize how bad it was though.
Sure.
And I'm like, dude, I really like am.
I'm fine. It's an oversimplification.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, dude, I'm really sitting here like just trying to almost put on this not a show, but I'm just trying to not piss anybody off, kind of how you're saying. You're just navigating. And you're not ever stopping to ask like, wait, well, how do I feel about that? Or do I even want that person's approval? Like, why do I care about that person's approval?
Yeah.
But I struggle with it. It's not something that I've just because I started journaling I fucking figured out. I'm still fucking doing it.
Yeah. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah, but it's like it's very interesting that's something that it seems like you've maybe kind of learned a little bit about through acting.
A little bit, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because especially like after that monologue, I was like, oh my God, I just like
a weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, I was like, oh, who wants to get food? Like, fuck. Like, I'm feeling good. Like,
yeah, that makes sense. That's really cool. We got some people in the chat. Catherine Marquis says, online acting school must be riveting. Is it?
Dude, I was in, I like did an entire year, like, because like the latter half of like my junior year, it's when we went into lockdown. And then so I had to do one more year initially online, then like kind of blended classes, like in person and mixture. Dude, TBH, I had some really fucking amazing experiences doing Zoom fucking acting.
Really?
Yeah. And like, it's not the same. It's not the same.
No.
But I did a play called Playboy of the Western World, which is like an Irish play. And let me tell you, like, when because when I get into a room and like I have to do something in front of people, I'm just like, oh, I need these people to like me. Like I I don't care who they are. I need their approval. Like
Yeah. No, yeah. I feel that.
yeah. And then so that gets in my way and I'm just like, I don't like I lose concept of like the emotions. I'm just like I start thinking about like, oh no, I need to say this next word this way and like shit.
I
like
can
that.
see that person's not really paying attention. I want to make sure that they laugh at this next
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's just like they're not laughing. I need to
Like
make it funny.
aware of everything. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And then so I actually had a lot of relief doing this specific play. I think other moments of like doing online acting weren't my favorite, but this play, goddamn, I was just able to submit so hard because like I mean like people are here, but like I'm just sitting in front of my computer.
Do
like
you do the play like in its finality? Is it over fucking Zoom? Is it like a Zoom play?
we did rehearsals that way.
Oh, okay.
But then like the
That would be
final like
weird.
recorded version, no, we did the whole thing. Like we recorded a version like completely over Zoom, but then it ended up being a radio play where like we just did dialogue. Like we came in to record it like, but no, we did essentially do it that way.
That's kind of crazy. That'd be almost like I feel like it's a movie that got shit on a lot. Unfriended. You ever see that horror film where it's,
I've heard.
it's
I
a
remember the
Zoom-
trailers.
It's like
but
not Zoom. It was
Skype or whatever. The fuck.
FaceTime or whatever because it was like all Apple products or whatever.
Oh,
And
okay,
it's this whole movie and I can't even remember what ends up happening, so I won't spoil it. But basically, people are getting fucked up, and it's these group of friends, and they're all like on a Zoom call, like while it's happening, and they're all acting in that. So I feel like maybe I don't know if that's been tapped into in the play world, but maybe you gotta start writing a screenplay.
There's been some like my professor said like, have you seen like Zoom plays? They fucking suck. We need to get back in person. But yeah, no, for that specific one, like I didn't have to care about like people people. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm
the
like
best I can do in this.
yeah, I'm just gonna feel this shit. Like I said, like my character is like super awkward. He's a total cuck. Like he is getting
awesome.
cocked to fuck. Like dude,
Really?
he's like trying to like go after this girl, but like she does not give a shit about him.
Damn.
And like so he's just like every single time like he walks and he's just like, oh, just like, how you doing? She's just like, I literally don't want to talk to you. He's like, okay, like
for sure.
how you doing tomorrow? Like it's
That's awesome.
And so I was able to like really fucking submit and just like actually like feel a lot in that situation. So I had a what was her name? I had Catherine. I had a single like moment where I was like, oh, this is pretty fucking sick. But yeah,
But
the
other
rest
than
was
that,
like,
It's like, yeah, I'd rather be doing this in the classroom.
yeah, far more.
On stage. That makes sense. Now you mentioned before how you're kind of with the same group of people for a while. In your case, at least with how your acting degree went. How do you act, or how do you go about dealing with acting with friends, like people that you're like genuinely friends with? Is that harder to do, or is that more fun to do? Or maybe a little bit of both.
I think it like I think it's a little bit more fun because you already have connections with these people, and so they've seen you at different points of like, I don't know, emotion and stuff like that.
They've seen you be upset, and they've seen you
Yeah,
potentially be happy. And
yeah, and then, so you're inherently like a little bit more vulnerable with them, and I think that can be pretty fun. I think I've had experiences where I'm just like, I can't shake that this isn't you. Like that's not what you say.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like,
not what you
just
say.
like, I'm like, say it again. You don't do that. Like
That's fair.
But and I like but some experiences have been like really solid where I'm just like, I don't know, you're just vibing with them.
When is the appropriate time to criticize a friend?
Ooh.
In any sort of creative field. It doesn't even have to be creative either. It could be like, even if you just have a friend and maybe they're in a relationship or doing some sketchy shit that you're just like, man,
yeah.
When is it appropriate? I was thinking about this the other day, that's why I wanted to ask you, and I figured we could segue it into acting and everything as well.
Yeah.
It's just, I honestly don't know, and I'm curious because I've been having this dialogue in my head the past couple of days where I'm like, because sometimes I don't want you to give me advice if you're my friend.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes I'm just like, yo, I'm just this fucked up thing is going on, and I just want to tell you about it, all right? And I just need you to listen for a minute,
Yes.
and then I'm going to feel better, and it's good, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to vent, whatever. Other times, you know, and I might not want to hear it, but, like, I might have needed to be like, dude, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Or else I would have done it, you know, doubled down on whatever that stupid thing I was doing was. And
For
you know,
real.
so I'm curious maybe if it's different, or if there's a way to do it, and when you should do that in acting or in life in general, from your perspective.
I'd honestly say you treat it, as far as I'm aware, the exact same, where it's like, you can ask someone, be like, do you mind if I give critique? Like, I want to give like constructive criticism because I feel like I care about you, and I feel like your work could be a little bit better, but I think because like there's a way to just be like, oh, I have outside perspective, like that I feel like I notice a problem that you have or something like that.
Yeah.
It's about asking permission, and it's consensual, honestly, where it's just like you want to make sure that the other person is chill with it. Or like if that person asks you and says like, could I get some critique? You're just like, do you really want critique? And like, and they'll be like, okay, maybe, like, you know,
you're like, if you don't know, then let's just put a pin in it and we'll save it for another day. But
yeah. And like, especially in an educational setting, it's typically like, the professor will like ask like for feedback from other people. So, you know, sometimes it's kind of valid there, but yeah, it's usually going to be a pretty consensual experience, like to give critique on something like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think, that's something that I feel like I am somebody who I want to ask for, like, I want to be like, oh, do you want me to critique? And I end up just not doing it because I'm like, I don't know. Because then they're going to say yes they feel like they have to. And then I don't want to critique them. Like if it's like my friend or something like that, not necessarily in an acting field or something like that. But speaking of maybe critique and acting and whatnot, what is something for you when it comes to acting? Like, what was like the biggest hurdle in, like, I mean, I'm sure you're ongoing, you're still honing your skills, getting better every day, trying to do that sort of thing. But kind of in the process of getting a degree in acting, what has like been maybe the most difficult thing for you? Something that was a challenge that you really had to work at?
It's still definitely an ongoing thing, but like, just wanting everyone to like you, sort of a thing, is just, I want to find out if it's like this thing that you can fully get over, or if it's just like, I don't know, like some specter that like looms with you, like, or like rather than having it like walk your feet, like right behind you, sort of a thing, but like walking like beside it more so, you know? When you
hear negative things maybe about your art or about even yourself, people, does that really bother you?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I can't think of necessarily an example at the moment where like someone has done that, but probably. Like if you
heard, like if you had like friends or something, maybe you have a friend that was hanging out with a group of people that, you know, maybe you know them, but you're not really friends with them, and they come back and tell you somebody was just talking shit about you or something. They were like, oh, you know, so and so Adam's a pussy. That'd be kind of a lame. I wouldn't really care if somebody said that, but if somebody was like making some sort of oh man, he's such a bitch, bro, with all his acting degree and whatever, he thinks he's so whatever, like, would that?
I think like,
because that's, I feel like for me, and not to cut you off, that's
no,
something
go for it.
when you're mentioning that it's tough to not worry about having everybody like you, and it's something you want to work to not have it be almost basically on your ass the whole time you're existing, and maybe if there's a way you can get it the fuck out of here forever. I don't know what that is. I don't know if there is, because that's something that, like, I feel like, especially in what you do, where you're an entertainer, right? Yeah. The essence of that is to make somebody else feel better, kind of how we talked about earlier. Yeah. Or feel something. Somebody else feel something, right? And it's like, without other people, you aren't there. So it's like you can't get rid of it. And that's where I struggle as well, where it's like I don't know where I need to draw this line, because I heard somebody else put it this way, a musician that I follow said, you know, it's so weird when, like, if you do music or you do acting, whatever, like, you work really hard to do your best, and like you kind of know in your head, or at least you try to like hype yourself up a little bit, like, I'm good at this thing. Yeah. And so you'll sift through all the oh, you're great, whatever. And just to find that one that fucking, you suck, stop, quit right now. It's terrible. Never make a song again.
Yep.
And you sit there and you're like, bro, fuck this person. Why the fuck are they saying? Why don't you like me? And it's not even that it's like, man, fuck them. I don't care. It's literally like, man, why don't you like me?
Why don't you like me? Yeah.
Like why?
Like,
what did I
do? Like,
and
can I make this better for you? Like,
and that's the thing. Yeah. Like, what can I do to make you like it? And that's what I do. And I play the mental gymnastics in my head. And it's only when I'm like watching films or watching something else where somebody's able to like actually not care, where I realize, or actually not even that. It's more so when I like Kanye West.
Sure.
Great music. Makes fucking phenomenal music, right? Yeah. Sometimes I don't love every fucking song Kanye West has ever made.
Sure.
There's people that do, there's people that don't. But I'll have people that literally tell me that they cannot stand, that they think he's done nothing for music. They think he's terrible. That makes me, but for when I hear someone say that, I'm like, okay, I have to fucking realize that, like, literally not, like, there is no way. But it's this weird thing, this like
That's
insatiable
crazy.
thing where I want everybody to like me.
Yeah.
But like, dude, nobody, the people that I think everybody likes, there's plenty of people that fucking hate their guts.
Yeah. And it, like, especially with someone like him, who's like, I mean, like,
he's
he's so
polarizing.
No, but like objectively, he's transformative as far as like music. So it's like someone can like maybe objectively say it's just like, no, he sucks. He's not good at all. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You can't even
you
like,
know? But he doesn't give a fuck.
Like,
but that's the thing. He doesn't give a fuck, and I think that helps you get to whatever level it is or whatever you're trying to achieve. Like, not even like in a professional sense, but just like peace. You know, so you don't have to walk into the room when you're going into an audition or whatever and be like, okay, I need the guy holding the light over there to like me. I need this guy. Like, how do I make sure everybody in here likes me? Like, I don't know how. I don't know how you get to that. I think some people are born without that thinking, and I am starting therapy soon. So we'll hopefully, hopefully we'll get to it, you know, and I'll let you know whatever I figure out. But it's I don't know, man. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like, especially with creators and stuff like that. I don't know. It's like, that's what they all say. And like, I feel like a part of me is just like, I feel like it's all the same experience, but some of them are just at different points or are convincing themselves that they're not at a certain point. Like, I've heard of like online creators specifically that are like, oh, I don't even read the comments. Like, I don't care. It's just like, but I'm like, okay, but are you like, do you care? And that's why you're not reading the comments. Like, you know, and it's like
4D chess they're playing right there.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do it.
Just like, no, I don't care.
Because some people like genuinely give me this like attitude where I think I'm like, man, it seems like they really don't give a shit. And then and I don't know, like what you're saying, maybe it is an act, or maybe they have figured that out, and I need to read whatever books they're reading, because that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, like what self-help book? Like, which one?
Yeah, like, which one is it?
Like, what B-list celebrity wrote it?
Like, yes, please give me the tips, because not every. That's the thing too, though. You know, we're like in what you're doing with acting. You know, in a performer, and kind of how I'm definitely a performing too. I mean, we're doing this is a podcast, isn't really performing as much, but it's like
it's still content though.
It's content. Like, we do when I go out and do vlogs. Like, I'm doing stuff up a little bit, like up a level, and same thing when I'm performing on stage, like music and stuff, like performing, right? You're doing a thing for people. It's weird to not, like, we specifically feel that. I feel like maybe people that don't do those sort of creative outlets where you need other people to validate it, maybe don't feel it as bad. Because I know a lot of people. I mean, dude, the guy that fucking goes to, like, pulls up to Target. Let's say he's at Target with his fucking New Balances on, fucking he's got the white New Balances on, the huge ones, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
he's got the jeans that are somehow flooding and not all the way on his waist at the same time. Like, they're doing both things. He just not very well put together, dude, but he does not give a fuck.
No.
And you know he doesn't give a fuck. And he's mean to you at the register when you're cashing him out, and he does not say thank you when you hand him the bags. That guy does not give a fuck. And I'm not saying I want to be mean to people, but I want to get to a level where I could go to the store looking like a piece of shit, not be polite to any. I smile at people.
You don't need to be the most fuckable person in this grocery store.
And I don't want to.
That's a tweet, but like
I smile at people when I'm not, like, I work retail.
Sure, yeah.
When I'm at other stores, when I'm at a restaurant, if I see someone look at me, I'm like,
You give,
I give them the customer
Midwest like
yeah,
half
I'm like,
smile.
I'm like, yeah. And why am I doing that?
Yeah.
But not everybody's like that, and so I want to figure out why I'm wired this way, and if there's a way that I can correct it a little bit, at least. You know?
Yeah. I feel I don't know. So when you described this guy, my mind immediately went to like, I don't know, some like jaded middle-aged dude who like wasn't raised with any emotions, so that's why he's doing that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just like, I can't picture someone who doesn't give a fuck right now because I'm making too many like excuses in my head that just like, no, they have to give a fuck. No, they have
You
to.
think you're projecting, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's just like this setting. I'm just like, oh, I'm under lights right now. I can't imagine these circumstances. But like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a difficult thing. So we kind of talked about, acting with friends and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Has there ever been a role that has taught you something about yourself?
Fuck. I'm not really sure exactly. I think I can't say, ooh, fuck. I I'm like, just me thinking, I'm like, okay, how many filler words have I used at this point? I think not that I can recall at the moment because I don't know. Maybe I'm not in touch with like my emotions and feelings as much, or like maybe I just am always considering like, oh no, this is a person and like this is absolutely something that's viable, you know? And then so I don't view myself as like too far from them. But there's been some really interesting roles where like I did a role where I was like, my scene partner was a girl I was just like absolutely fucking in love with. Like, just like I got like so massively depressed over the fact like it wasn't gonna happen. Like what a
You
like
guys
a,
were just acting,
like
or that in the play you guys weren't gonna be together, like in the
in real life I was
You
I
loved her.
liked her,
Oh, okay.
and then we were also that in the play. And like it was actually like she didn't want to be in a relationship. She like didn't want that for me, but then at the end like it is successful and happens. God damn, was that like one of my first experiences where I'm just like, holy shit. Oh, so this is real.
Yeah.
Oh, so this like, it's not just about like making the funny ha-has for people. I'm like, oh, this is like, I'm feeling this shit. Like,
yeah.
I'm just connecting like actual parts of my brain to this shit. And I'm like, that's insane. And that was in like, there was a play called Almost Maine. But yeah, no, that's I don't
crazy.
know. Certain things just reveal, and you're just like, oh, that's more real than I thought
That's
it
what
was.
that is. Okay. Yeah. It's like a epiphany.
It's almost like you're in therapy. Like,
yeah, you're like, shit, I didn't know that about myself, but all right.
Also, that's what my dad said. Like,
that's fair. We got a couple last like speed questions, and then we'll see if you got anything for me. We'll get to that in a second.
Bet.
But how long before you would, like, if we were like getting ready for a play, right? You just passed the auditions, you just got a role. Let's say it's a leading role,
Mhm.
one of the 3 main leads or something like that.
Sure.
How long before you'd be ready to go on stage perform? Usually, generally, I don't know.
I always am just like, I see the amount of time that I have to rehearse. Like I did a professional show where like you had 2 weeks.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That's
It's a lot.
that is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. I also dropped into one like where I was like, I had like a week and a couple days. Like,
Damn.
yeah. Granted, I was ensemble, so it's fine.
Okay.
But you kind of just, whatever the timeline is, that's what you have, and you just have to work with it. Like, I always just make sure that I'm memorized by the off book date. At least to the best of my ability. Like,
What's the off book date?
that's when you are off book. You can't have
Okay,
the
gotcha,
script in
gotcha.
your hand
For
anymore.
those- Mhm.
But you just kind of have to keep pushing yourself. You have to take that personal responsibility to like rehearse at home and be like, am I saying this line or am I meaning this line? Just like, okay, I got to go back and work on that. Like explore different ways that it can be said. Sometimes I will how I will memorize lines now is like I record them into an app that like you can record different characters' lines and stuff like that, and then I'll just listen to it over and over. And even if it's me just saying it in like a dull monotone voice, just like hearing the scenario over and over like helps you just be like, oh, that maybe that's why they're saying this, or like maybe they're angry during this. Then you listen to it another time, just like, oh, maybe they're sad during this. But this is all to say, just like I just take as much time as I have, kind of, and like you just kind of keep working at it, and you'll find it eventually.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not when the show opens, like unfortunately, but then you might figure it out on stage. So
what's like if you have any memories of like a specific instance where maybe you've either forgotten a line on stage while you're performing, or forgotten where you were supposed to be or whatever, and how did you go about salvaging that?
So I was doing a Shakespeare play that this is my last play at UW Milwaukee, and there's this moment, it's really tense. There's this it's 12th night. There's this woman posing as a man, and I am like a duke or a count, and I'm like the leader of this land, sort of a thing. Big wig. She has befriended me under the guise of a man. So my character's name is Orsino. They are known as Cesario, but their actual name is Viola. And there's this scene where like I'm in love with other countess lady, sort of a thing, and I'm just like, bruh, she's it. And like Cesario is always is like, dude, you gotta stop this. Like it's not like, just in her head, she's just like, you're trying so hard. She's denying you, but like you just need to stop. And then so there comes this moment, and like she falls in love with Orsino, my character. And then so it's like there's this scene where like I'm like, oh, go do this thing, and she's like, fucking stop, like. And so there's this moment where like she kind of reveals that to me a little bit, but like not fully. And then so I'm just like confused, and then she's like, she says like, oh, sir, shall I to this lady? Like, should I go like talk to her? And there's this moment where like, in Shakespeare, sometimes there'll be a rhyming moment, like, and it's typically shows more significance with the line. But I say like, that's the theme. Like, you're right. To her in haste, like, go quickly. Give her this jewel. I pull out like a necklace, and I say, and then I hand it to her, and I say, tell her my love can give no place. Like, I'm not budging from this. Like my love is forever. So again, that's the theme.
That's what's supposed to happen.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
What happened was, I was like so in it this night too, but like there were multiple fuck ups, like from other people's parts, like where we were all just like, what is happening? And
when one happens, does it just like kind of snow? If another one happens, does it snowball where it's like, fuck, we're fucking up, and you can't even think about what you're doing in this moment because you're thinking about your fuck up, or do you just have to drop it?
Not always, but like this was just a night where like multiple things were happening. We're just like, I don't know what the moon is right now, but it's like it's not in our favor.
Not a fan of us.
Yeah. So I say, so I and I'm really feeling it this night, and I'm like, holy shit, this is so cool. And then so like she says like, sir, shall I to this lady? I say, aye, that's the theme. To her in haste, give her this jewel. I take it out of my pocket. The pendant separates from the necklace and just falls onto the ground. And then so I said, aye, that's just to her in haste, give her this jewel. Like clink, clink, clink.
Oh no. How long do you think you were sitting there? Probably felt forever, but it
felt forever. Like I couldn't tell you. Like maybe like
seconds, probably.
But like my like brain kicked in, and I'm like, okay, I've had training in like prop comedy and stuff like that. I got this. And then so like that came out of me naturally, and then as it's happening, I'm like, just keep going. I'm like, you put it in the room, it exists now. You need to play. You need to work with this. And then so I say, and then like I grab like the pendant off the ground, and then like I'm holding the necklace, and I just look between them, and then I go,
Yeah.
And like the audience is fucking crackling up. They're they're laughing so fucking hard because clearly like you can't tell if it was supposed to happen, but it's working very well, at least from like what other people said. And then so I see that it's not successful, so I'm like, I just put it in my hand. I just look up at her, and she's just like, she's not even facing me. She's like holding her hand out like this. And then I just like very slowly walk up, and I just like said in her hand, I said, tell her my love can give no place. Like, and like that's completing the rhyme. Like finally, oh my God. It was like, and that was a live streamed show as well.
Wow.
Where like multiple people were watching. Like my friend in the UK, like I asked her like later, and she just like, I like described like this really fucked up thing that happened on Wednesday night. She goes, oh no, I watched that one. I was like, oh fuck. Shit. But then like my like professor came up to me afterwards and he said, that was incredible. He's like, you were so on it tonight, but and then he went like, like repeated the moment as if it was like a quotable line or something that in a film. I was like, yeah. And then like, another girl like in the show who I don't talk to very actively, she's just like, you're like an improv master. I was like, fuck
yeah, dude. That's wow. I mean, that's a great save.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
an incredible save in that moment.
I was like, and you just have to go. Like I just had to keep going. So it was insane, but it worked out very, very well.
That's incredible. Are you like, does that scene then end shortly after for you?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
And that worked out even better then.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of like this ultimate conclusion where you get to do this funny line. That's awesome.
And oh my gosh, and especially like the fact that like there was already so much tension in the scene because it's just like, oh, like what do you mean? Like, or like, why did you say that? Like, why did you say a line that said like, you maybe like love me or something like that? Yeah. Like for our purposes. And then so it was already uncomfortable. And then so like she's like, should I go? And I'm just like, yeah, go. And like, oh fuck.
It's like a perfect release of tension.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
And like it's just adding to what was already there. And like that doesn't even have to objectively be the situation, but because it was happening in this scene, it just fueled the awkward energy even more. They're just like, oh, that's so uncomfortable. Like, oh, it's still going.
Oh God.
Why is he trying to put it like he's just like
yeah. That's awesome. That is a great save, honestly. Couple more quick questions. What?
Oh yeah, you said quick.
No, that was a good story. That was a great story. What draws you? Why acting as opposed to other art forms? You said you sing, obviously you do musicals and stuff like that, but why specifically? What drew you to acting as opposed to other stuff?
Nothing necessarily. I just took any performance opportunity that I could. But at this point, it's fun as shit. You just get to go up and like have like, I don't know, like a Coke party of fucking like of this performance. Just like this shit's gonna like at least like last like hour and a half. So it's just like you just adrenaline, just get it all out, have this one thing. I still love like singing, and I've like learned to like really enjoy dancing as well, but it's just like this one consistent thing. And especially like you get to do something different all the time, and like, you know, you can do different genres of music and stuff like that, but man, like this is a whole human ass experience that you get to go through, like, and some plays include like music as well.
So you get the best of both a little bit there. That's okay. Last question. What's the best piece of acting advice you've ever been given?
I don't know.
Shit.
I'm trying to think.
Calling out some of these teachers. Where'd you go to school? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it kind of is in line with just be yourself. Because some people are just like, they worry that they don't have like the tools to do this role or something like that, but you have your own human experience, and that is enough. Like you can, I don't care if like your character is like a pig alien or something like that. Like more than likely the dialogue will still be human, so people can connect to it. Otherwise they're probably not going to care too much. And just know that you have the experience. You are valid in what you have lived and what you feel to fuel that character. And so like, you know, I may play a character like differently from you. Like say like you may like see like lines as angrier and I may see them as more anxious. Like you'd be surprised what you can just like plug and play for like certain lines and stuff like that. Like some people will just do characters so much differently and you're just like, I didn't see that. But then like, you're just like, but you're like, wow, that like works. That's like odd that it's like, it works for it. So just trust that what you feel is going to work and know that, you have enough fuel. You have enough, within yourself to play whatever you are given and whatever you want to try. So
that does sound like good advice. I appreciate this advice being passed on to me now. So thank you.
I got
you. We're coming. I think we're gonna wrap the show now. Here we're about an hour and a half. I thank you for being here, man. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap, or anything that spur of the moment that you don't have to? It's fine.
No, I think we're all solid.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being here, dude. Phenomenal. We got into some deep stuff here today, and literally, like I was joking when we went live, this is the second time we've spoken. So
which is pretty insane. Like
and I appreciate you, man. You are a really, really chill guy. So I know you have the same thing as me. You want everybody in the room to like you. I think the two people in the room, we're messing with you. So I appreciate you being here, man.
Fuck yeah.
Hopefully we can have you back sometime. And
I'd love to.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. I want to say also thank you to everybody who tuned in live, for all you guys watching tonight, everyone that's going to listen days after on Spotify or over here on YouTube. Also, thank you to our patrons. They should be up on the screen right now. If you guys are interested in getting access to exclusive content, including series where I break down every single one of my songs, how I mix and master all of them. We've got extra bonus interviews on there. All the footage that doesn't make the final vlogs gets put up on Patreon as well, and a bunch of other stuff, exclusive podcasts and whatnot. So check that out. You can go to patreon.com/DarrenRita. You can join for as little as $1. And thank you to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. This has been the 138th episode of